Football season approaching and drafts for fantasy owners in the next few weeks. Here's a few running backs that are getting drafted in that mid-round range that are your low-end 2, number 3 running backs with potential to be top 12, number 1 running backs for fantasy owners. The first running back, James Conner of the Arizona Cardinals. I know James Conner, injuries have been a problem for him over the last few seasons. I know he's up there in age, but his ADP right now, he's going in that 5th, 6th round range is James Conner. And last season, he had a pretty decent year, I thought, was Conner. 208 carries, 1,040 rush yards, 7 touchdowns, 27 catches, 165 receiving yards, and 2 touchdowns. Marvin Harrison Jr. in the draft, Trey McBride being there already, adding Zay Jones. I believe this offense is going to open up a little bit more for this Arizona Cardinal team. And James Conner is still going to get a healthy workload. I know they drafted the rookie Trey Benson coming out of the NFL draft this season, but I believe James Conner is still going to get a lot of work, and I believe his path to becoming a top 12 running back possibly is scoring a lot of touchdowns for James Conner. Last season, 9 touchdowns total. It wouldn't be surprising if he could bump that up anywhere from that 12 to 15 range. I'm not saying he's going to be a top 12, but he definitely has potential as someone in that range. So this is all potential players who you could get late in your draft and catch lightning in a bottle, and someone who can help fantasy owners win their league. So right now, while James Conner is going that 5th, 6th round as a low-end 2 running back to early 3 flex option, I believe he's someone who has potential to be a top 12 running back this season. Is James Conner. The next running back, Chase Brown of the Cincinnati Bengals. So going into the season, Brown and Zach Moss, it's possibly going to be a 50-50 split over there in Cincinnati after they let Joe Mixon to the Houston Texans in a deal in the offseason. Chase Brown last year, he didn't see the field much, only 44 carries, 179 rush yards, 14 catches, 156 receiving yards, and a receiving touchdown. So Zach Moss, he definitely had a good season last year, was Moss, early in the year where he was starting before Jonathan Taylor returned to the lineup for the Indianapolis Colts. And so far, coming into fantasy drafts and over the last few weeks, Chase Brown, he's been moving up the rankings at that running back position, because I think Brown could be a good receiving back out of the backfield. He's got breakaway speed. Just the only thing with Brown is I think in between the tackles could be a problem for him to be consistent in that aspect. But if he comes in, he gets 12, 15 touches per game and does a lot of work in the receiving game as Chase Brown. I believe he has major upside and someone going in that 8th to 10th round range with potential to be a top 12 running back. Last season, we saw surprising guys hit that top 12 threshold. Raheem Mostert, he was one of them last year coming out of nowhere. Kyren Williams, who was undrafted in most fantasy leagues, he was a top 5 back, obviously. He was Kyren Williams. And Devon Achane, who went late in fantasy draft, he was a top 10, top 12 running back total. So right now, Chase Brown, we're getting an opportunity and a great offense with Joe Burrow, Ja'Marr Chase, and T. Higgins. It wouldn't be surprising if he has a breakout season and he's up there this year. The next running back, Zamir White of the Las Vegas Raiders. Zamir White, he looked pretty well last year towards the end of the year where he filled in for Josh Jacobs. And now with Josh Jacobs gone, signing with the Green Bay Packers, Zamir White, it's going to be his backfield. I know Alexander Madison, Amir Abdullah over there as well in the backfield. But Zamir White, he's that physical running back, and at a minimum, your 1st and 2nd down running back, I believe, and someone who's going to be in the goal line packages. I don't see Zamir White being much of a receiver out of the backfield, but this offense has some weapons as well. Devontae Adams, obviously. They have Brock Bowers, impressive rookie tight end coming out this season, Jacoby Myers. But I think Zamir White could be that physical, pound and ground, old school type of running back. In last season, 104 carries, 451 rush yards, a rushing touchdown, 15 catches, 98 yards. I believe Zamir White's going to get the first shot at the running back position for this Vegas Raider team. And like I said, he had some impressive games last season and showing. So right now with White going in that 6th, 7th round range, and he's in that mid-round running back conversation where he could have potential to be a top 12 running back, where I think his path of getting there is obviously he can't catch the football great out of the backfield, but scoring a lot of touchdowns and doing a lot of work on the ground. Next potential mid-round running back, DeAndre Swift of the Chicago Bears. DeAndre Swift, I thought he had a great year last year with the Philadelphia Eagles, where going into the year, it was going to be Kenneth Gainwell possibly. It was possibly going to be Rashard Penny, but DeAndre Swift, he was the man over there. 229 rush attempts, 1,049 rush yards, 5 touchdowns, 39 catches, 214 receiving yards, and a receiving touchdown. The only thing with Swift, this offense is loaded. And last season it was loaded as well in Philadelphia, but now with the Chicago Bears, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Cole Kmet, Rome Odunze, who they drafted early in the NFL draft this season, Caleb Williams. So a good offense, no doubt about it, for the Chicago Bear team. But we saw Swift in limited role a couple years ago with the Lions have some monster games. So for Swift to get there, obviously he's got to be the full workload running back is DeAndre Swift and do a little bit more in the receiving game. But Swift, he's really dropping, and I would be comfortable going into the year with Swift as my number 2 running back. I know they got Khalil Herbert, Roschon Johnson on the roster, but they brought Swift into a pretty nice contract in the offseason, and I believe he's going to get 75-80% of the touches in the backfield. So DeAndre Swift is someone with potential top 12 upside. I believe. We've seen him have some good years with the Lions. Last year, I thought it was a solid season for him with Philadelphia. Just touches, and obviously how many times they want Caleb Williams to throw the ball per game. Because I know Caleb could run a little bit, but he's not going to be an elite runner of the football. Where I think DeAndre Swift is still going to get many opportunities and possibly could crack that top 12 with a good season. And the 5th and final running back, I believe, could be a top 12 option where he's going mid-round. This season's Raheem Mostert of the Miami Dolphins. So last season, same type of scenario it was for Mostert, but he was going later in fantasy drafts last year. Anywhere from that 8th to the 10th round range, you saw him go in most fantasy drafts. So last season, the monster year for Mostert, 209 carries, 1,012 rush yards, whopping 18 rushing touchdowns, only 25 catches, 175 receiving yards, and 3 touchdowns. But I believe Devon Achane is definitely going to get more work than he did last season. We know Achane, he missed 4 games as well, and they also got the rookie Wright coming in. Is this Miami Dolphin team? But Raheem Mostert going 6th, 7th round range. Last season, maybe no one thought he could do what he did with the total 21 touchdowns and 1,000 yards on the ground. And injuries have been the concern for Mostert, but when he does play, he gets a lot of yards per carry. He's explosive. This one of the faster backs in all the league. And this season, I think people are disrespecting Mostert a little bit. I like Devon Achane more, obviously, going into the year, but Mostert to be a 6th, 7th rounder with the 50 split at minimum, I believe, in that Miami backfield. I believe Raheem Mostert has that potential top 12 upside once again, and he fits this offense like a glove, and he don't need 70% of the touches. Still had a big workload, but he didn't have that insane workload over 250 touches last year's Mostert. So once again, I believe Mostert could crack that top 12 if he's going to keep that short yardage and early down back work at times, getting 15, 18 touches a game. So that's a few running backs going in the mid-round. I think I have potential to crack the top 12 at the position entering the 2024 fantasy football season.